Good to see you, Helldivers. We didn't meet every goal set by our last major order. Disappointing as that may be, we have to don our capes and keep moving forward. Command has sent down a new major order for us to take the fight to our enemies. All of them. We've got specific targets to neutralize that, once dealt with, will increase morale across the galaxy while demoralizing those who support tyranny. I'm sending you a recommended loadout list to get the job done. It's got a new personal favorite of mine. Good luck, and don't have too much fun.
Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Yep, today we're going to be going over a build to basically complete the major order as easily as possible. Now, the major order is for us just to basically kill them all, but more specifically, we're taking out specific enemies in each faction. For the Terminids, it's the Shriekers and Impalers. For the Illuminate, it's the Flesh Mobs and Leviathans. And then for the Automatons, it's to take out those beefy Factory Striders. So hopefully this loadout will help you all, and you can let me know what loadout you're running to get this major order done. But that's the intro out of the way. Let's get started. For the equipment section here, for our primary weapon, I'm going to go with the Eruptor here. And when I'm picking weapons for this major order sort of loadout, I'm going to be picking weapons that I don't have maxed out yet. So, for instance here, Eruptor. It's only level 20 for me right now. Customization wise, go with something that has low ergonomics so this thing feels really snappy. That's my only advice for it. Other than that, let's move on to the secondary. Now for my secondary, I'm going to give you two options here. The Ultimatum, more specifically for the Automatons and helping take out Factory Striders, because those things are pretty beefy, and the Ultimatum here is a good way to basically soften them up or kill them outright. But for the Illuminate and the Terminids, I'm thinking more on the lines of something like the Talon, or hell, even the good old-fashioned Bushwhacker. When's the last time any of y'all took out the Bushwhacker? For our throwable, we're going with the Thermite, and that's simply because this is a great way to stick an enemy like an Impaler or even a Flesh Mob, and they're basically done and dealt with. Now, when it comes to your armor, this section is going to be completely up to you. I'm just going off what I usually wear, and that is the Gunslinger perk here. I just can't get away from it, and I like the style. But I will say, with recent changes to a lot of these armor perks, we have a lot of variety and a lot of good options outside of just, say, the usual like siege ready perks. So pick what you feel like you need, and let's move on to the stratagem section. For the stratagem section here, we got a couple lock-in options, one of them being the Warp Backpack here. This is going to be great mobility and is a lot of fun to use with our stratagem weapon, which is going to be our next lock-in pick, and that is going to be the Quasar Cannon. I usually don't gravitate towards the Quasar Cannon, but with the Warp Backpack, these two just pair perfectly together. And the Quasar Cannon is going to be a great heavy hitter for something like a Leviathan. Although it's not going to be the best weapon to take out Leviathans, it will do consistent damage to them. And the same goes for the Factory Strider. Both the Leviathan and the Factory Strider are both very meaty, heavy targets. So having a Quasar Cannon that can always consistently damage them, paired with the Warp Backpack for great mobility, they're just a match made in heaven at the moment. Now for the next two picks, I want something that can still do damage to, say, something like a Factory Strider, but also have some ad clearing or chaff clearing potential. So I'm going with the regular Eagle Airstrike here. I haven't used this thing in a long time, but man, I have missed it. It is so good. But if you don't like the Eagle Airstrike, you can take something like the 500 kg. It'll do a similar job. Now for our last pick here, I'm going to the Sentry category. And this is where I'm going to say you have a little bit of flexibility on picking which Sentry you want. For instance, if I'm going against the Illuminate or the Terminids, I maybe would take a machine gun or a Gatling Sentry. Although with the Illuminate there, the Rocket Sentry can actually help out with Leviathan, so that's a good choice. But for the Automatons there, I want something that can do a lot of armor damage. So the Autocannon is a good choice, obviously the Rocket Sentry too, and then even the Mortar would be a good option. For the Automatons, I don't think the Gatling or the machine gun are absolutely necessary because the Eruptor does a really good job at taking out packs of Devastators. So that's it for the stratagem section. Let's move on to the gameplay section where we can talk about how this loadout deals with those specific targets. Let's start off with the Automatons because we only have one target for them, and that is the Factory Strider. Your Quasar Cannon and then whatever Eagle Airstrike you have you picked, that's going to be your way to deal with the Factory Striders. And Factory Striders, they're usually like a group effort. You usually want your full squad trying to take them out together with a bunch of stratagems. But if you're doing it solo, yeah, you're going to be using the combination of your Eagle Airstrikes and your Quasar Cannon to soften them up and then maybe pulling out the ultimatum to get some more damage on them consistently. Your sentry pick is going to help out soften up the factory striders too, so with your combined stratagem weapon and eagle airstrikes and even the sentry, factory striders should not stand a chance against you. And essentially, our loadout here has a lot of low cooldowns when it comes to stratagems, meaning you just don't have to save these for when you see factory striders, and luckily, everything that we picked here is amazing at taking out all the heavy armor of the rest of the automaton forces. So honestly, against the automatons here, yeah, this loadout kind of makes them a cakewalk. Now moving on to the terminates, we have to target shriekers and impalers. And I don't know about you guys, but have you ever used the eruptor on a pack of shriekers? Man, it feels really good to get that shot off. But just in case you can't land that shot, that's why I said switch that secondary out. Maybe for the bushwhacker, going to be a little bit easier to take them out consistently, or using something like a machine gun or a Gatling sentry. So that's going to be your best bet against those flying rats. And when it comes to the impalers, luckily our quasar cannon is excellent at sniping them. And if you don't have your quasar cannon, well, you do have your thermite just to stick them and get the hell out. How are you getting the hell out? Well, with your warp backpack. And just in case any of you haven't used the warp backpack against the terminates, man, it feels really good to be able to zip around and jump away from them, especially when hunters or stalkers are coming after you. It makes bringing something like the eruptor, which admittedly in close range can be really dangerous, if you pair it with the warp backpack here, oof, anytime you need to get a close range shot off, you just teleport backwards and you're completely safe from blowing yourself up. Now say there is a bug breach and the impalers are sitting in the back and there's a bunch of chaff between you and them, well, that's why we have a sentry to help out clear out the chaff, but also the eagle's airstrikes to throw past the line to those impalers or to soften up the chaff in general. So overall with this loadout, yeah, impalers, they really are burying their heads in the sand trying to avoid us. Now when it comes to the squids, yeah, they're having a bad time against this loadout as well. The forces that we're targeting against the Illuminate here are the flesh mobs and the leviathans, and luckily in the case of the flesh mob, the primary weapon we're using, the eruptor, is one of the best weapons to deal with them. And that's just our primary weapon. And we have multiple ways of taking out the flesh mobs, like using our warp backpack to either get in or get away from them and stick them with the thermite grenade. That should take them out pretty easily. For the Leviathan, on the other hand, this is going to be a massive target that doesn't show up all too often because Arrowhead has kind of nerfed their spawn rates. Now remember, you can target their cannons on them now. So that's what I'd be going for with your Quasar Cannon, and then using your Rocket Sentry to also help out take these things out. So once a Leviathan shows up, you just focus on that and take your time getting your shots off. And then after it's dealt with, you can easily just go back to bullying the rest of the squid forces. So that's it. That's the loadout I'm going to be using to complete this major order. Now for a loadout like this, we don't necessarily have a theme. Again, we're kind of just tailoring it to the current major order. So I want to know what loadout you guys are using to complete this major order. Let me know in the comment section below. It's just fun to kind of talk about Helldivers too and how everybody's like playing the game at the moment. But that's it for the video. I will see you guys next time. Peace and take care.